Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Mary Ligon.
And I'm Charles Bostick. Today our guest is Kurt Riedel. Kurt, what were your first impressions of the SAU campus?
I thought it was a pretty good school. I saw Overstreet at first, and actually we came up here about 7 hours before I was supposed to move into the dorm, so we actually ended up sleeping outside of Overstreet in my car. So I thought it was a good school.
What other colleges did you consider attending?
Well, there was Southwest Texas State University. It was closer to my house. And there was Berkeley College of Music, which was in Boston, and didn't get accepted to any of those. So.
Oh, really? Now, how did you find out and become interested in Southern Arkansas University?
I was working for the summer, and since I made the All-State band, Mrs. Mickey called and offered me a scholarship, and I wasn't going to go to college, so I was like, oh, well, might as well.
So you might as well come?
Yep.
What appealed to you most about this college?
The scholarship money. I got a pretty good scholarship.
So you think that scholarship money is an important factor in, choosing your university?
Yeah, especially when you don't have any money to begin with,
right.
For college. It helps a lot to have a school offer you a lot of money.
Now, where exactly are you from?
San Antonio, Texas.
Now, how did you actually come from San Antonio to Arkansas? That's sort of that's a long way to go.
Yeah, it is. Other than school, I've never really heard of the place.
Have you lived anywhere else besides San Antonio?
I've lived in Germany before, and I've been to Mexico.
How long did you live in Germany?
For about 2 years, from preschool to kindergarten.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How is cuisine different in Germany than it is in the United States?
Actually, Germany I didn't think was too far off from the way it is in Magnolia, because it's a lot of agriculture stuff, farm community.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of weird farm animal food that I had to eat.
Weird farm animals.
Chickens and just like haggis. They have haggis over there.
What is haggis?
It's like sheep guts. I never ate it though, so. Weird.
Now, how does Germany compare to life in the United States? Is it a different lifestyle?
Yeah, it is. The cities in the United States are a lot different. There's a lot more diversity here too. You don't see as many, Hispanics or African Americans in Germany. It's mostly just white people.
Oh, really? All right. Now, because you grew up in San Antonio, the Spanish language must have been a major influence in your life. How important to you is knowing a second language?
Well, nowadays, there's more and more people that are coming that don't speak English to begin with. So in order to have jobs where you work with people, a lot of times it helps because Spanish is, I think, the most spoken besides English in the United States. So it's pretty important.
Do you think that Spanish will ever overtake English in the United States?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Can you say something in Spanish for us and translate it into English?
Let's see. Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Okay. Did you see a day, or actually, let's go on. Magnolia is not exactly a major city. Has it been hard to adjust to small town life as compared to San Antonio?
Yeah, it's harder to get things in Magnolia that you would really want. You can't just go out and party all night around here because clubs close really early, or there's none around here. So, but in San Antonio, you can stay out all night, then all day, then all night again. I've done that a couple of times. So. Yeah, it was a little different, but not a lot because you're coming here for school, not to just party all the time.
Right.
So.
That's a good perspective to take on the subject.
I think so.
Do you feel comfortable in your surroundings here in Magnolia?
I've gotten used to it. I've been a dork since high school, and that really hasn't changed. So yeah, I've found the right crowd to fit into.
All right. What is your major here at SAU?
Computer science.
Okay. What can a person with a computer science degree do in life?
Software engineering, I think, is the most preferred field. It's basically you work for a company that writes programs, like everything you see on your computer. You can do web design.
Right.
Anything that a computer does, I think you can do.
How did you settle with this major?
Well, my dad really likes computers, and he's always on them, and so I figured I might as well be on a computer all the time too. So,
Right.
plus I have fun.
Where do you picture yourself in 10 years with this major?
Hopefully, I'll be able to do something with the military, with
really?
computers, aviation, stuff like that.
So this must involve you're going to have to join the military in the first place where you can...
Yes,
So you see this in your future, joining the military?
I think so.
All right, if money were no object, what would your dream job be?
I don't know. I think I'd want to play a sport because I've never been good at a sport. If you had all the money in the world, you could play like at any college you want to or
Right,
something
that's
like
true.
that. I mean, if you weren't any good, that's another thing.
Right.
What inspired you to choose that dream job?
I don't know. It's like basketball. I like watching
Who's
it.
your favorite basketball player?
I say Magic Johnson before he got out of the game.
Right.
So,
Have you ever seen his talk show?
I haven't seen it. It's pretty good.
I've seen it one time.
It's interesting. I don't know about good, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
All right, what have been some of your toughest classes during your stay at SAU?
Calculus too was hard.
Oh, really?
I took it for like half a semester, then I had to drop it. Then I took it again, and the professor I really couldn't understand, so I have to take it again.
Now, is math an important factor to computer science? Is that a big deal?
Yeah, we take mostly math classes.
Oh, really?
For that, yeah.
So that's what your core curriculum involves, a lot of math.
Yeah, a lot of it.
I'm terrible at math.
I'm terrible too.
What classes come easiest to you?
I thought algebra was the best, and I think you use algebra a lot for calculus, which
Right.
I'm in now. So.
All right, we may have viewers who may be thinking of attending a university. What kind of advice would you give a high school senior who may be entering college?
Don't drink all the time, and don't play video games all the time, because that wastes a lot
It'll
of
corrupt
study
your
time.
mind, too.
Yeah, it will.
Who influenced you to attend college?
I don't know. It's just everybody said to go, and most people I knew that hadn't gone to college have jobs that they hate, so I figured to get
Right.
a
It
job
seems
I
like nowadays, if it's not your parents, it's someone saying, "What college are you going to go to? What are you going to major in?"
Right? Yeah.
They don't ask you if you're going to go. They just ask you what you're going to do when you get there.
Yeah.
So maybe college is important to us these days.
Yeah. I don't think you can get a good job without going to college.
I know it'd be hard to make it in the real world without
Yeah.
attending college.
Right. That diploma, when you have it in your hand, it means a lot to the employers as well.
Yeah.
So.
And I've been working since I've been 16 years old, and every job that I've been at, I don't know what I'd do if I had to work there forever.
Yeah, really. And another thing is, when you're in college, you get to choose basically what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You major in something that you like, so you can work at that job until you retire, or if retirement exists anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, I like to, well, I'm in the band at
Oh, really?
SAU, which I do for scholarship, and it's fun. I like to play. People go wild for me. Just kidding. Also, I've started doing ghost hunting.
Oh, really?
We take cameras and tape recorders out to cemeteries and places
Wow.
around here, and we'll see what we can get.
Have you ever got anything? Is my question.
Yeah, we've gotten some voices on tape, and
Really?
we've taken some pictures that have pulled up some
Wow.
electricity and stuff like that on the camera.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So with your hobbies, how did you become interested in the band and in the ghost hunting?
Band I've done since I was in middle school.
Right.
I hated school. I never could study, so I always just thought band was the only thing that
Right.
I was good at, and I went pretty far with it, so I figured I just might as well keep with it.
Here you go. Okay, well, I'm in the band as well. I actually play the same instrument as you.
All right.
When you started band in grade school, how did you settle on percussion? Because for me, we had to take a test in grade school and they figure out what your strengths were. And mine were like rhythm, 100, everything else, 0. So I was sort of wondering how Texas works.
Well, right before you pre-register for school, you go talk to the band director, and you ask him what instrument you could play.
Right.
You pick one out. And I saw the bass drum in the band hall, which I was pretty small then, so it looked about 5 feet tall. And I was like, well, I want to play that. And I asked him, and he was like, no, you can't play that. And I was
Right.
like, well, what can I play? And he's like, well, try something else, and then we'll put you on it later. And so I played trombone, and then he
Oh,
was
really?
like, well, do you want to play drums now? And I was like, yeah, okay.
There you go.
Who is your favorite professional percussionist?
There's a lady named Evelyn Glennie that is deaf and
Oh, really?
plays percussion, and she's really good. And I saw that, and I was like, well, I'm not even that good, and I can hear. So
Right.
I thought that would be a good role model.
And that's another thing. Deaf people can do a lot of stuff that you would never think that they could do, but they can do it better than people that can hear a lot of the times.
Yeah, in high school we had a kid that was deaf in our drum line, and
Oh, really?
he was really good. It
Right.
was cool.
I guess they think maybe if they practice more, then they'll be better than everybody else, and that is definitely the truth.
Yeah.
Now, because I also play percussion, I know you play drum set. Now, did you teach yourself this, or was it something you learned in school?
The drum set I taught myself because I couldn't find anyone that could play drum set really well that wanted to teach.
Right.
They'll usually get fed up with someone that doesn't play as good as them. So I just kind of played along with music on the radio, and I picked
Right.
it up kind of by ear.
Have you ever taught drum lessons?
Yeah, I've taught kids that are like in middle school, and it was horrible because a lot of times their parents will make them go, and
Oh, really?
they'll just sit there and be like, yeah, okay, whatever.
So like piano lessons?
Yeah. And I was just like, okay, kid, give me your money, get out of
Right.
here.
Now, I know you also played in some bands, you know, like sort of like a rock band or a Christian band.
Yeah.
Was that fun for you to do that sort of thing?
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of work though,
Was
because
it?
when you're in a band, first of all, the rumor isn't true. You don't get a lot of women, which was kind of disappointing.
Right.
But also, people just don't really want to hear you
Oh, really?
unless they've heard something on the radio or
True.
something like that, which you can't do unless a
Right.
lot of people know who you are. So.
Now, I also understand that you've made All-State Texas, and Texas is a big state. So I was wondering if you could take us through the trial process for All-State.
Yeah, well, you'd have to audition first within your schools,
Right.
then you go bigger and bigger, and by the time I auditioned for the actual band, I'd say I went maybe 3 or 4 times to compete, and then after that you have to audition again to see what chair you make
Oh,
in
really?
the All-State band, and that, when I went up there, I was sick all day with the flu.
Oh, really?
And by the time it was time for me to audition, I was so sick that all the notes seemed to run off the page. I couldn't tell what
Wow.
was going on, and for some reason, I still got like the last chair in the first band. So
Well,
I was pretty lucky.
It's still an honor because Texas there's a lot of people in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people did you compete against?
Oh, well, for the All-State, it was I think 100 people,
Oh, really?
something
Wow.
like that.
Wow.
Are you a member of the Greek band organization Kappa Kappa Psi?
No, I never joined that.
Why not?
Well, I just couldn't get. I don't know. I just couldn't get into the whole idea of being in a fraternity.
Well,
Just
first of
never
all, I sort of know something about this too. It's more like not really a social fraternity. It's more like a service organization. So you have to do a lot of extra work,
Yeah, like another job.
and there's not enough time in the day to do some of the stuff. So
Yeah,
that's one
true.
big reason. Now, I'm just wondering, is college life what you expected it to be?
Well, I pretty much just partied through high school, and I didn't do a lot of studying, and I was never good at anything that I'm good at now. So I guess I would expect to have flunked out within a year.
Oh, really?
So I'm doing pretty good, I guess.
Well, that's good.
Was it hard to make the transition from high school to college?
Yeah, I didn't have any friends when I came up here. I didn't know anybody, so I had to find people to fit in, which mostly all my friends are in band, and
Right.
it's pretty much the only people I get around to knowing. So
Right.
it was pretty different.
Even for me, I mean, I've lived in Magnolia for a long time. When I got to college, it seemed like I didn't know anybody anymore. So it's just like, finding a new territory in life.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, here's a question from the Charles Archives. If the world were a perfect place and you could wish for anything you wanted, what would you wish for?
I don't know. I think I would wish to. Well, I like Chinese food a lot, and I think that I would just have every food chain,
Oh, really?
eat Chinese food. That'd be great.
That's a good one.
Who were some of your role models as a child?
Well, there was my dad, of course. I looked up to him because he's real smart, and his job is pretty technical. He's like a TV repairman,
Wow.
and I think a lot of rock musicians like Tommy Lee from Motley Crue. I also liked Axl Rose.
Right.
Was a good guy. That's pretty much it.
Now, I think this is pretty interesting. Your dad's a TV repairman. Have you ever tried to fix a TV yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty hard. I work at a store for Christmas, and we usually have to lift TVs, and I've dropped a couple.
Oh, really?
And I've dropped pretty expensive ones. I've tried to
Oh my
fix
gosh.
them, but I can't.
You tried to fix it. Now, do you live on or off campus?
I live in an apartment off campus.
What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of living off campus?
The noise in the dorm room sometimes is just intolerable. People will leave for the weekends and leave their alarm clocks on. And
Oh,
it's just a
really?
constant. I can't stand that. But when you live in an apartment, there's noise too, just not a whole lot of it.
Not the
Plus,
same kind.
you have your own room. There's privacy. You know,
Right.
you don't have to wake up one night and find that your roommate's staring at you, which
True.
is kind of weird.
True.
Do you think you would be more involved with other school activities if you did live on campus?
No, because I stayed in the dorm when I first came up here for like a year or two, and I just stayed with the band program. I never did anything else. So
Right.
I think I actually do more now that I'm off campus.
That's
Right.
good.
All right, now SAU is not exactly a large campus. Can you tell me what you think are the advantages of a smaller campus versus a larger one?
Well, there's not as many people in your classrooms,
True.
which I've been to a couple of universities where there's like maybe 50 people in a classroom, and it's hard for professors to get to know you by your name. And I think that they have an opportunity to teach you a lot better because you can ask more questions to
Right.
them without them getting annoyed than a bigger university.
Right.
Who are some of the professors that you relate with the most?
I think that Dr. Chang is he's a real nice guy, and he teaches pretty well, and I've talked to him a couple of times. He's a pretty cool guy.
Oh, really? Do you think that because the classrooms are smaller and you're not known by a number, that you learn better, or do you think that's just a coincidence? Or
Yeah, I do. I learn better because the professors will ask you why you didn't turn something in, which
Right.
it's embarrassing, you know, because they care about you, and
Right.
you want to turn things in, you want to get good grades because they know who you are and what kind of grades you make, and you're just afraid they're going to come up to you and be like, "You didn't do too well in my class this year, did you?"
True. All right, on the college level, what one policy do you think is unfair to students?
The policy that if you're up here, you have to stay in the dorms
Oh,
while
really?
you're a freshman. If you don't have parents that live here, that's kind of unfair because kids, I think, will get involved in what they want to, and if you force them to stay somewhere, they just get kind of annoyed.
True.
Which I was annoyed.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, if you're entering freshman and you're allowed to stay off campus, do you think those freshmen would actually study, or they would
Yeah.
spend more time doing what they want to do? Because I think the dorms actually would help a person study, even though they're noisy.
I don't know. I've known people that take advantage of it, and I've known people that haven't. I think a lot of the kids that go from high school here to college here have that same mentality that it's still high school, and they probably won't study as much.
Right.
But if you lived on your own, I think you could get more of it done.
Right.
'Cause you have more responsibility.
What here on campus benefits you most as a junior computer science major?
Our computer labs have, our classes have actual computers in them now, and that's pretty good because when they talk about something, you can type it up and pull it up on the computer instead of just reading it off a board and then going home and not knowing what they talked about in class.
Right.
So, and the teachers here are pretty good.
Right.
I've known some that have come here before from the computer science department that have just been pretty lousy.
Oh, really?
We have pretty good ones now, so I'm happy.
Let me ask you a question about this. I don't know much about the computer situation here on campus. Is the equipment up to date? Like, is it good stuff?
Yeah, it is. I was surprised. It's better than my computer, which mine's pretty new, so happy about that, I guess.
Now, if you were given the opportunity to travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I think I'd go to Europe.
To Europe?
Would be a good place to go because they're a little more open-minded there. Americans are a little conservative when it comes to, you know, things that don't need to be addressed on the show like this.
If you could say one word to describe your experiences here at SAU, what would it be?
Hee-haw. I'm just kidding. It's been good. I've had a good experience in college, so I think it's been very beneficial. So.
Now, I also noticed you played in a jazz band. How different is the wind ensemble from the jazz band?
Well, Charles, I think you'd find that the variety of music differs a lot in the organization. And I think jazz band is a little more funner. You get to do more of the stuff that you'd hear on the radio,
Right.
More than you would hear concert stuff.
Right.
I think that the appeal on campus is the same. It's still like the band, but
Right.
it is funner. I have more fun.
Oh, really?
Do you ever get nervous performing in front of a bunch of people?
Well, I'm nervous here, so I think in front of people, yeah, I get nervous, but I think after the first couple of minutes, you become okay, and then you could goof around or do whatever.
Right.
You know.
For me, it's the performance and the rehearsals are one and the same, because you really can't see the audience out there. You really can't tell what's going on.
Yeah, I guess you can, but you're still in front of a lot of people. It's nerve-wracking sometimes, especially when you have to play by yourself in front of them.
Right.
Pretty weird.
But at least you're having fun while you're doing it.
I have fun. I do a lot of crazy stuff on stage.
Now, I know that, I don't know if this is true for all percussionists, but sometimes you hear stuff on the radio and you want to, try to do what they do. What kinds of music would you get stuff from and, get ideas from?
Mostly bands that normal people wouldn't hear of. Progressive rock. There's a band called Dream Theater where the drummer did a lot of cool stuff. But there's stuff on the radio now. I think they're getting better, the musicians, and I hear a lot of odd metered stuff, a lot of double bass stuff, which
Now,
is...
tell us what the double bass is, 'cause I know there's viewers that don't know.
When you play a drum set, you've got one bass drum, and you usually have one pedal, but you can also get a pedal that has two beaters on it and use your feet more than you use your hands.
Right.
So it's a lot harder than just playing with one. It sounds better.
All right. Well, is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to maybe mention on the air? Anything?
Anything you'd like the viewers to know about you?
I'm a good-looking guy. I'm single, and it's Valentine's Day, and I'm a little lonely, so...
Well, I know you want to fly helicopters one day.
Oh, yeah.
Is there-
I would like to.
Oh, really? Now, how did you, you're in San Antonio. There is an Air Force base there, correct?
Yeah.
So you probably saw a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity most of the time, like around the afternoon. Planes will buzz your house, and you'll hear the engine, and it shakes everything. And you'll just be driving down the street, and you'll see huge cargo aircraft flying above you. And I just thought it'd be pretty cool to do that too, since why not?
Well, good luck.
Thanks.
All right, that concludes this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Charles Bostick.
And I'm Mary Ligon.